Amerika Serikat sebagai satu dari 5 negara yang memiliki hak veto seringkali menggagalkan usulan resolusi Perserikatan Bangsa-Bangsa. Salah satunya terkait Palestina. Selain Amerika, 4 negara lain yang memiliki hak veto adalah Rusia, Inggris, Prancis, dan juga Tiongkok.
Lalu bagaimana respon PBB menyikapi hal ini? Berikut wawancara Gracia Byrne bersama Direktur Pusat Informasi PBB Unit Jakarta, Michael Gaspar. Sementara dialog lengkap wawancaranya bisa disaksikan di akun YouTube Liputan SCTV.
Yeah, I believe it's quite challenging for the UN to take some actions because there is this veto right for some countries like United States of America. And it can be a barrier to some actions. So how much power does the UN have to enforce its will and the strongest nations within it?
Sure. So the UN, first of all, it's not just the US that has veto power,
Yeah.
right? There are 5 countries that have veto power on the Security Council, which means they can stop a resolution even if it otherwise had majority on a 15-member council. The UN is only as strong as the mandate it gets from member states. The UN was created by countries. It has 193 member states. And it can, in any particular conflict or in any situation, it has as much power as granted to it by the member states, which by definition means that its own actions power is sometimes limited, and that's on purpose by the member states. That's the multilateral setup. The UN it's the largest multilateral organization in the world. It provides a unique forum where every country is represented and every country can have a voice. And the UN has passed, important resolutions, including towards peace. Peacekeeping is one of the areas where the UN works, and we can see what happens when the mandate of a particular peacekeeping mission ends. Then, sadly, civil war can again start in a country. So the UN does what it can within its mandate, but the way its current setup is 8 years old, which is why the UN Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, started 2 years ago a process to make the UN fit again for the 21st century. And part of that is to perhaps reform the decision-making mechanisms of the UN. Most member states today were still colonies at the time that the UN was founded. The UN, there's no representation from Africa, for instance, on the Security Council. Right? The only sort of developing country is China, among 5 nations. And there are also similar issues at the decision-making structures of many of the UN organizations. So this is being looked at so that it can be reformed and made more fit for today's world. But at the end of the day, the UN Secretariat and the Secretary General can make recommendations, but it will have to be member states, it will have to be countries that vote on it.